What it do? Two Beards, One League coming at you with another episode. You know, Joe, I stole What It Do from JJ. Like he says it on his morning show every day, and I don't know how to open the show without it now.
I
So,
mean, it's been kind of a staple since you guys started this. So, I
but
mean,
it's JJ saying, and I stole it from him.
does he have a trademark?
Man, you know, JJ, you need to get that trademark. I'm just saying, right? Like I'm stealing it for now. I don't have my own thing. So thank you for letting me use your thing, I guess.
Yeah.
That sounded wrong. Maybe we should reverse that.
No, I thought it sounded perfect.
How you doing
That's
today,
what she would have
buddy?
said. I'm good.
Glad to hear it. Crazy week in the league. We got a ton of stuff to get into.
Yep.
Honestly, been a fun week for the league. Trade deadline next week on week 12. This has been a fun week for trades in our league.
Yep.
Crazy deadline stuff coming up. Crazy playoff scenarios we're going to play out at the end of this show. Honestly, today's episode, I think is going to be a lot of fun. We did the rundown right before this, and it just a lot of fun stuff to go over.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess let's just jump into it, right? So as we always do, our news and updates. This is the one thing I kind of want to know if everybody's interested in this or if we need to get rid of it, because it seems to be it's what we start with. We try to keep it short, but just let us know. I haven't heard anything good or bad about it, but let us know. Let's just jump right into it. So Bucky Irving, limited back at practice though. So that's exciting because Bucky Irving's been out since week 4.
Yeah.
And even though he's not on my team, I want him to do well.
Yeah, for sure. And like we don't like when players get hurt, it stinks just overall, like for fantasy and just in the NFL in general, because like you want to root for those players, and then you want to root for regardless of you're a fan of the team or not. So
for sure. There's players now because of fantasy football that I'm just a fan of because they were on my team at one point. Like
for sure.
As an example, Puka Nacua, because I watch so many of the Rams games, has just become a favorite player of mine because when I watch him play, I'm like, wow, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah. So what's for me with Julio?
Yeah. And getting into another one of your favorite players, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's out with an appendicitis, so he's definitely missing this week.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if he comes back next week.
Yep.
I remember Eli Manning having something similar at one point, and he missed only 1 week, but as a quarterback, I think he kind of got away with it more because he wore like one of those flat jacket vests after. I don't know if it'll be the same for Marvin Harrison Jr. Wide receivers take more hits.
They take more hits, especially in that area.
So, kind of hurts, especially because Kyler Murray's on IR and it's going to be the Trey McBride show.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Devontae Adams had an oblique injury. He did not practice, but what I read sounded like precautionary. It was just like hey, he's holding him out. He'll be ready to go. But keep an eye on it, especially because they have the division game against Seattle this week.
Yep, big game.
Garrett Wilson went on IR right before we started the show. Hilariously, so 3 weeks ago, Sarah dropped Garrett Wilson and instantly messaged me like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. So I fixed it. But at this point, kind of looks like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should have just kept it that way. Let somebody spend a ton of fab on that guy. And then now he's probably out for the season.
She knew something we didn't.
Yeah, I guess. Isaiah Pacheco, his knee injury, Andy Reid commented that it looked like he was not going to go this week. Keep an eye on it, but it does help Kareem Hunt. They do have a tough matchup this week in Denver, but Kareem Hunt, last time he was on the field, fell into the end zone, 55 yards and a touchdown. So just keep an eye on it. Joe Burrow with his toe sounded like he's hopeful to return week 13. So right in time for the playoffs. JJ made that trade for Josh Allen, but also picked up Joe Burrow off of waivers. So if he's out there in any league, hopefully, if he is, pick him up. But
yeah, for sure. You need a quarterback.
Crazy that he might come back. That sounded like he was done.
I figured not till December.
Yeah.
Mid-December. That's what I thought.
J.K. Dobbins did not practice. RJ Harvey will take a lot of that role. just keep an eye on it. It didn't sound good. It sounded like they're hopeful he could play, but most likely wasn't going to.
Mm-hmm.
And then last was Dalton Kincaid. He did not practice. He's already been downgraded to doubtful. He's probably out.
Yeah.
So that's all I had. Some big ones, but we're getting to that point where most of the injuries now are either going to be done for the season or they're very minor and they're probably playing through them because everybody at this point in the season is hurt.
Yep.
All right. That's news. All right. So we are going to do a special shout out today. There's just somebody who's been commenting on our videos regularly. He's not even in the league. He is a friend of ours. It's Danny. He gave a shout out to Aaron here, just saying he's going to take it because his name is the best. But I did want to call it out and just say, Danny, thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Keep liking everything and just know that we do appreciate, you guys commenting and doing all that other fun stuff. So again, just want to give a quick shout out. We're small enough. We can make comments about comments on our video, right? We get two comments a video. Like we can comment on them. Most of the time it's Sarah commenting on something and it confuses me because I don't know what part of the video she's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, if she put a timestamp, it'd probably help, but I don't
See,
know if she's
Sarah?
able to do that.
Gotta put a timestamp. All right, Joe. So let's get into the next thing. So we talked about at the beginning of the show, we had a ton of trades. Now I was a huge part in a lot of these, but
yeah, you were.
But JJ and Robert started this off. So JJ and Robert posted in the group chat. They said, they put up a little comment of all the people that were on the trade block, and they said they were willing to trade anyone, which I loved. Right? It's keeps the group chat going and it gets everybody talking about stuff. And trades are fun. They keep everything interesting.
For sure.
The first trade that came through was actually JJ and Robert's trade.
Mm-hmm.
JJ and Robert made a pretty big trade. Robert traded a second round pick in Josh Allen for Zay Flowers and Harold Fannin. I get it. He has Matthew Stafford and Caleb Williams. JJ just lost Jaden Daniels. He picked up Joe Burrow. He's trying to make a big push here.
Yeah.
I get it, which I understand. Robert is trying to get depth. The injury bug is biting Robert pretty hard right now.
Yep.
So I get why you trade your quarterback, try to get more value. Understood.
Definitely.
Getting Zay Flowers does give him another wide receiver, which he's been talking since week 2 that's been his biggest downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Even at 6-4, he's made quite a few comments of, his receiving depth is just not there. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on his team and he just went down.
Yep.
Chris Godwin out.
He's been out most of the season. Yep.
Right. So he's kind of got to start. You needed Zay Flowers.
You need receivers. So yeah.
I get it. I totally understand. So that was the first trade, right? This all happened on Tuesday as well. So right before waivers ran.
Waivers went through. Yep.
So that was our first trade. Fair trade. I loved it. I had the understanding of hey, I'm trading this quarterback for 2 key pieces to keep.
Yep.
Then JJ, at the same time, JJ was texting me, right? JJ sent me a trade. And just, this was the trade. And I loved it. He goes, you send me Amon-Ra and Woody Marks, and I send you James Cook and Teteroa McMillan. For me, I loved it. Woody Marks was my best running back. I have been, after trading Derrick Henry with you and Mike, I have been just dying at running back. I am starting Zach Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker or Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I am starting Kareem Hunt in some cases. It has not been fun to be on my side. So getting a solid running back in James Cook made sense to me. Yep. I'm still pretty solid at wide receiver, and I'm still getting Teteroa McMillan back.
Yep.
And for me, and we talked about it, for me, it changed my mind. My mindset changed a little bit. And we'll get into the playoff scenarios, but I also wanted to be able to have keeper options.
Yes.
That doesn't mean I'm not trying to make a playoff push, but I have to kind of balance a little bit more now, right? Like I can make a trade that gives me an option, and JJ can make a trade that goes, hey, I'm trying to get a solid players right now and get better at wide receiver. Because in the same breath, he did just trade Zay Flowers. He's got Christian McCaffrey. He had Christian McCaffrey and James Cook. It makes sense. Get a little weaker running back and Woody Marks, but get a lot more consistency out of Amon-Ra.
Yep.
So that trade happens. And then Robert hits me up at the exact same time and goes, hey, are you interested in the tight end? And I said, I am. Now, Robert is rich with tight ends. He has Harold Fannin after making that trade. He has Tyler Warren, and he has Jake Ferguson. So he's got great tight end depth. He doesn't need all three of them. He even texted me at this point. He said, I know we play each other this week, but are you interested? And 100% was. For me, we talked about it. I became more interested in keeper options and less interested in winning at this exact moment. I hope I win this week 100%.
Yeah.
But Tyler Warren is a great keeper option. 8th round pick. You know, he's been performing at fantasy or at tight end 2 or 3 this season. Giving up Teteroa McMillan, who I just traded for, and Zach Charbonnet. Yeah, it hurts because I have Ken Walker. So if Ken Walker goes down, Zach Charbonnet to the moon.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm looking at week to week. I'm not looking at the long haul, where JJ and Robert they're more looking at, okay, how can I make a good sustainable playoff push?
Yep.
So I think the trade for both sides makes sense. But I'd love to get your opinion on all 3 trades, right? So those are all the 3 trades that happened, but I'd love to actually hear your thought on all of them, one of them. What kind of happened when you saw this happening?
Yeah, so with going to the first one between JJ and Robert, totally makes sense. Like it's kind of similar to your situation, which I'll get into in a minute. But Robert is hurting at wide receiver, so like he has he had the 2 tight ends at the time. He was flexing, he was playing one and flexing the other one. So at the same time, it's like he's hurting at depth. So getting that wide receiver depth is key. Because like I was telling you for your team when you did your trade, you're kind of trying to make balance on your team. So you're giving up something good in the hope that you're getting something of value that you can kind of balance out your team. So like with Robert, he had Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's been killing it. So why wouldn't you trade Josh Allen to see what you can get? And then for JJ, it also makes sense for him to get that quarterback that lost Jaden Daniels. He has Joe Burrow on IR. So like trying to fill his positional needs is important. And then for your trade, you and I had already talked about this a few days ago for God knows how long, but I thought it was a great trade. I thought it was a great offer because you needed the running back depth because you had 3 great receivers. You were able to sacrifice Amon-Ra to get that running back that you desperately needed because you still have Nico Collins, you still have Puka Nacua, so you're great. And then the last trade, I know with you weren't too sold on trading Mike and I, George Kittle. But now that you have Tyler Warren, because you were playing tight end roulette each week, it seemed like. So now you don't have to do that. You're set. Your lineup and your team is basically set. And it's the same thing with Robert. Like Robert needed depth at running back and wide receiver, the positions that he's been needing. So I loved all the trades. I thought they were very fair trades.
Yeah. So, and from my perspective, I also have been a little lucky with the wide receivers I've been able to pick up. Right. So I picked up Troy Franklin. He's been pretty consistent. Jameson Williams has been a great play the last couple of weeks. And when Robert just, kind of peeked behind the curtains, JJ just offered me a trade and I just loved the trade. I thought it was fair. I didn't feel like I was losing out, and I didn't feel like we needed to negotiate. Robert reached out exactly how I reach out. Hey, are you interested in tight end? We went back and forth, and I said, I am interested. And I told him who I was interested in. And I asked him, like, what are you looking for? And he did exactly what I would do, right? He came out, he said, I'm looking for 2 of these 3 players. And he goes, Jameson Williams, Teteroa McMillan, or Zach Charbonnet. So, he was willing to take anything, but he wanted the depth. He made it very clear.
For sure.
And so when we got into it, I realized I kind of view Tedero, McMillan, and Jameson Williams the same.
Okay.
From my opinion, I thought Jameson had higher upside because he's on a better offense.
Yeah.
He has a lower floor where Tedero has been very consistent. He's 12 to 16, but he's just 12 to 16. Jameson is 0 to 25.
Yep.
And having Puka, having Nico, having Troy Franklin, having Keenan Allen, I picked up Jerry Jeudy. I felt like I can take a chance on a flex player who could get me 28 points.
Yeah, for sure.
And just kind of going from there. So that was like a peek behind the curtain, right? Like it's those kind of trades. Like sometimes they're fair, sometimes they're not. But at no point, nobody offered me any of these trades via Yahoo. They all sent them via text.
Yeah, which is kind of how we kind of said we wanted trades to be initiated, because it's harder to send a request for a trade and not really knowing what the intent of it is. And then using the little comment section in Yahoo isn't the greatest. Like being able to just like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, or is this something you're interested in? This is like, let's talk about it.
Well,
I think that's the best way to go.
Robert even said he was interested in depth because he said he did send I would be interested in Nico. And I said, I would be willing to trade Nico, but that would be a 2-for-1 for me, right? So I need Tyler Warren and a receiver back. I'm not going to send you Nico for just Tyler Warren. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, and he just told me I'm more interested in depth than a 2-for-1 trade. I can't trade away depth. I need depth. And so, okay, that makes sense. Well, then we can trade that way, right? But if we're looking at it, it's hard to tell. I would have assumed from my perspective, he doesn't need depth. He wants top end players. And he's saying, no. How I feel about my team is I need depth because of the injuries. And that's why I always say you should talk to the person, because what you view as their weakness might not be the same as what they think their weakness is. They're the ones who's playing with their team every week. They're the ones who are seeing this stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What does depth mean? Like if they can go far and catch the ball?
No, if they're in your lineup and then you could switch them out for somebody else in your lineup because you have multiple players at that position.
Oh.
Yeah. I offered her a trade, James Cook, for 2 running backs because I don't want to play running back roulette, and she just said no.
No, I have FOMO. Everyone was making all these trades, and I was like, hey, I need to make a trade. And I looked at my team, and there's no one there that I want to trade away.
Yeah, because your team's perfect.
Yeah.
That's not perfect. But
okay, semi-perfect.
It's third place team right now.
It's pretty good right now.
Sorry, yeah, it's the third place team. Get it right.
So I don't have anyone that I want to trade.
That's fair.
That's okay.
Because Steven wanted my good players. And I said, no.
I was just giving you James Cook for Rico Dowdle and Jalen Warren.
No, you tell Steven, I'll trade you my linebacker for your defensive lineman. How about
That's
that?
That's
what you'll get.
No, she goes, I'll trade you Isaiah Pacheco for James Cook. I was like, Sarah's trying to trade rate me.
Well, you tried to do that with us too, Sarah. You tried to give us Isaiah Pacheco when he was injured that week. So
Sarah's
I get
the
it.
epitome of, I'm going to trade rape you.
No.
She probably just didn't realize he was hurt.
I didn't know. Rude. I didn't know he was hurt.
I had seen the trade. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's out this week, Sarah.
I didn't know.
It's okay.
Rude.
Yeah.
All right. Next, our Beat Steve segment. But I won. We both won.
So is it Steve Beats?
Nah, I think we're just going to keep it as Beat Steve, but I'm just going to make a cool meme about whatever we're working on that week. So here's this one. I decided to just create a fun meme because I did beat Brandon. Lamarzad, I have beaten you. You must now change your name. And he must obey. That's the rules. So, Brandon, it's the rules. I'm sorry. It's the rules. Zeus said so. It is what it is. I did make one. You guys beat JJ.
We did.
I love this one. This was my favorite one to make this week. Here at Drake and Ball, we are better than Power Rangers, and we know it.
That's
one of
usually my mindset when I go into most matchups. So yeah,
this is one of
regardless
my,
of my record. So yeah.
one of my all-time favorite movies. So I loved making a meme
Can
off
you
of it.
tell what movie we watched recently?
Dodgeball.
Yeah, it's a true underdog story. Okay, and they won,
I-
and they were a true underdog.
See, I can't even see it, Sarah, and I know what he's referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then last, so there's our Beat Steve segment. You know, Sarah wasn't going to join, so now that she's here, I didn't make a meme for her. Kind of did, but you know, whatever. We have our next segment, and I told Brandon I keep doing this. New team name Thursday. They're going to get progressively worse, but this is Joe's favorite meme.
This is my favorite one.
His team name is going to be Let's Ride, and it's the most iconic, you know, meme you send to me all the time.
Yep.
In any version. And so, you know what, Brandon, you're going to make me say Let's Ride. So you better figure it out. Change your name because you must obey. Like there's rules.
I don't understand. Let's ride. Like let's go in the car and ride. Go on a ride.
It's from the Russell Wilson said that.
Oh.
And
I didn't know that.
yeah.
It's from the little thing that the Broncos do where they say it's Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson kind of
I
like
had no idea.
He did it all funny and
he did it all funny and it became a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not in the.
You're not in the loop.
I'm not in that loop.
It's okay.
All right. So that's our fun little segment. Let's get into our week 10 recap. Great week. It kind of brought everything a little closer together, which is always good.
Yep.
So I ended up beating Let's Ride, right? So I beat Brandon. Honest to God, I'm not gonna lie. I needed to go to bed so bad. And I was watching this game, and all I could think was, what I said is gonna happen. I'm gonna be pissed off. Because at a certain point, I was up by a ton of points, and all he had left, I believe, I need to look at this matchup real quick. The player he had left was Ladd McConkey.
Yep.
And I was up 27 points. I felt okay, but I didn't feel great. Ladd McConkey through the first 2 quarters hadn't done much. And I think he had 4 points coming out of halftime. And then all of a sudden he scores a touchdown. And he scores the touchdown. He does another big play. And then right in the fourth quarter, he has that long pass.
Yep.
And he's going 58 yards. And I'm sitting there going, oh gosh, if he scores a touchdown, it's over. And he looks like he's gone. And Jalen Ramsey gets in front of him, stops him. Thank God. Because I would have lost if he scores that touchdown. He stopped him in the 15-yard line, and I beat Brandon by literally 7 points.
Yep.
And it would have been 7.5. I would have lost, and I would have lost my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. So there was my story, right? We talked about it on the podcast. I said that was going to happen, and it almost happened. And I was just like, are you kidding me? It's crazy. Next was what we considered the game of the week, which was Your Mom Digs My Penix versus Waddle Over to the Neighbors. So Sarah versus Aaron. Ended up being a good week or a good game, but it was not the game of the week. So we'll get into it, but it was a great game. Sarah won 154.12 to 130.6. Again, Aaron's just consistency with his team.
Yep.
As always, amazing. I can never say anything but positive things about Aaron's team. He just got a little unfortunate with Cortland Sutton and the Broncos putting up very little points. Cortland Sutton getting 5 kind of killed him. And Sarah had just some massive games from Waddle and Olave. She had Jahmyr Gibbs, who almost went off for 40. Cade Otton, 17. She had those players who had those big games. And even though Jalen Hurts and Garrett Wilson got her a combined 15 points, those other guys getting 20 or 30 killed it for her.
Mm-hmm.
So the game of the week is actually this one, Bishop Sycamore versus Duck in the Storm. So
yeah,
this game was crazy, and it came down to exactly what we said, right? which always makes me feel good because it feels like, hey, we actually know football. But
Yeah,
this game
somewhat.
started out crazy because Jacob had Jonathan Taylor in that first game.
Yep.
So 7 a.m. game, Jonathan Taylor's going off. What was it? Like 250 yards, three rushing touchdowns. He had
3
like
rushing touchdowns, 50
points. 50 points. And I was just like, I told Sarah, I was like, Jacob's won. Like, it's over. 50 points is almost impossible to come back from. But not only does the second half of the next games, right? Devon Achane goes off for 40. So I'm like, oh gosh, Terrence is killing it. I was like, what is happening? Jared Goff goes off for 30.
Yep.
And all of a sudden the games got really close. And it was a little bit of a combination of Jonathan Taylor kind of carried Jacob. The rest of his team just didn't do anything. Tyrone Tracy with 8, Hunter Henry with 1 or 2, Darius Slayton with 12, Justin Jefferson with 8. It wasn't looking good. But it came down to exactly what we said, right?
Yep.
It was going to be the Eagles Packers. And it was. While Saquon got 13, AJ Brown got 3. So, Terrence had a pretty big lead heading into that last game. But Devonta Smith ended up being the player getting all the points. Josh Jacobs had 19 for the Packers. And even though Jordan Love only got Jacobs 7 points, it didn't matter because those other two kind of carried him.
Yep.
And we talked about that, right? Like it's either or. It's never both. Saquon and AJ Brown never both have great games. Honestly, Devonta Smith had that touchdown late that put Jacob up, and that kind of sealed the game. But crazy week, great game.
Very.
I was watching it kind of like, oh, who's going to win this one? A ton of fun. Next was your game versus JJ. So you guys won 154, highest score of the week, to 125. So I was going to kind of let you just chime in on this one. I watched it, but you guys had an early lead, it felt like, and you never really relinquished it.
Yeah.
I never felt like the game got close. So what's your opinion on that?
I think it was close in the beginning because Jackson Dart and then we had May, like they were pretty much neck and neck. So I was like, oh, it'll probably be a close game. And then at first, and then because I was watching the Patriots game, and then Mike texted me super excited when Tez Johnson scored because I was a little behind in the game because I was catching up. So he's like, oh my God, Tez Johnson scored. And I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, he's like, it's a big touchdown. I was like, nice, at the end. So after that, we kind of started pulling away. And so like I was worried. I wasn't really settled because I knew he had Christian McCaffrey, although I shouldn't have questioned Brandon and his curse because Brandon cursed him. So I did. I need to pay him. Well, actually, he said it's free on the house. So, but it was a good game, good close matchup. We just managed just to catch because JJ didn't have T. Higgins, and then that was really it. But like Christian McCaffrey didn't have like a blow up game. Like he had 17 points,
17, which is good, but not
Christian
McCaffrey.
Like the Christian McCaffrey game that you've been expecting all season. And same thing with James Cook. Like your team came to play and completely shut down Buffalo, which was very surprising, but made me happy because
it's only the second time all season Christian McCaffrey scored only under 20.
Yeah.
I mean, literally you look at this guy's score and it's like 23, 22, 24, 27, 39, 34. So him scoring 17 is kind of like, what? He scored under 20?
Yep. It also helped that Brock Bowers only scored 3 too.
Yeah, but you also had on the other side of that, you had George Kittle and Trevion Henderson who went off.
Yes.
So like it helps that JJ's guys didn't completely just dominate, which is what we expect. JJ's team has been so dominant all season. But the other side of that is George Kittle and Trevion Henderson combined for 52 points between just those two players. So you didn't need the rest of your team to kill it. And Romeo Doubs and Quentin Johnston didn't.
Anyway,
but you didn't need that.
Nope.
Because you guys also are on the other side of that. You've been dealing with injuries, right? Brian Thomas was out. Ricky Pearsall still isn't playing. Terry McLaurin, he's out. Like you're hurting at receiver. So I get it, but it was a great week. JJ did get hit with the injury bug, Travis Hunter on IR, and
Yeah.
Obviously he picked up Joe Burrow, and then made some trades after this. But yeah, it was hard for him on the other side.
I agree.
Our last game, this was honestly an ugly game, if we're being 100% honest. Like, I'm not trying to. It's what we predicted. I think I was the only one who picked Ryan to win this game, and I think I did it purely because everybody else picked Robert.
Yep.
But Ryan lives and dies by the Chiefs. Chiefs were on bye. He died. His
Yep.
team put up 98 points. It just wasn't pretty.
It was not. He needed the power of the Chiefs.
He needed the Mahomes. And you look at it's what we talked about, right? Like, he had nobody else on his bench. His whole team was on bye. Because he's Jamar Chase. It's Jamar Chase. It's Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and then his other running back is Tony Pollard, who was also on bye.
It was the week to catch Ryan.
It was the week to catch Ryan. It was the week to catch Ryan. So even though Robert's team was nothing spectacular, right? He 24 from London, 20 from Roma Dunze, and 23 from Josh Allen. He also had 14 from Harrison, but Monogany had 8, and Rashad White had 10, and Josh Downs had 2. It didn't matter because Brian's team was all on bye. So,
yeah, because Ryan only had 3 players that were even hit double digits. Like Kyron Williams was his highest with 22 points. So
yeah,
that goes to show you.
Yeah. Well, and Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they have been really good all season, and Pittsburgh had a good. They lost, but the defense did well. Addison, JJ McCarthy hasn't looked fantastic. DK Metcalf didn't play well. Michael Pittman, who's been consistent for him all year for Ryan, it just couldn't do anything. J.K. Dobbins got hurt. So just a rough week all around. His team will bounce back. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But, rough week.
It happens. Everyone has them.
Yep. I had 5 in a row, so we're good.
Yeah.
Moving into our record. So you went 4-1. Your only miss last week was you did pick Brandon to beat me, but nailed all of your other picks. I, on the other hand, went 2-3. I think I just went too far opposite of you. I also picked Brandon to beat me. I just felt like it was going to happen, and it was close. I picked JJ and I picked Ryan. So those were my misses. But overall, we both moved to 17 and 18. So we've tied our record back up. We're doing well. Our guests went 8-2. They moved to 9 and 6 on the season. Fantastic. Just been fun. Fun kind of predicting everything. All right. So next thing is our matchup of the week. I did create a graphic for this. I'm hoping people let me know if they enjoy it. They don't, go from there. Just getting into it. Our matchup of the week is Sarah. So Sarah's in the matchup of the week again versus Jacob. Great matchup. I don't know if you've gotten to look at this or you need me to start off on it, but either way, more than willing to.
Go ahead.
Jacob and Sarah going off this week. Everybody's kind of at full strength.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Sarah is the Garrett Wilson owner, so she is going to be missing Garrett Wilson. On the other side of that, she is catching Jacob with Jonathan Taylor on bye.
Yes, she is.
So, it sucks you lost Garrett Wilson and you have Chris Olave on bye. Man, it's kind of fantastic that Jonathan Taylor's on bye.
Yeah, for sure.
Sarah's team, looks good. Jahmyr Gibbs against Philadelphia. Even Josh Jacobs scored 17 against him. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs, even on a bad week, is still going to have a good week. The The Dolphins going up against Washington, who have not looked fantastic. Obviously, Sarah has Waddle. She has Malik Washington in right now, who's been pretty consistent. I was looking at his game logs. He's scored since week 5, which I believe is the week that Tyreek Hill went down.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He has scored 10 or more points every week. So not scored more than 14, but not scored less than 10. Honestly, as a wide receiver 3, I don't think you can ask for much more. She did pick up Trey Tucker, which, again, another great pickup. He's not been super consistent, but I think we both can agree, like, sometimes you have to just take shots.
Well, then they're playing Dallas too, so it's not like Dallas's defense is a
Fantastic.
world-class, fantastic, amazing defense right now. So
Right. She has Rico Dowdle, who seems to be the waiver wire guy of the season, right? There's always one. That crazy thing is she picked up Rico Dowdle while you and I were on a podcast. We were talking about how Chuba Hubbard might be out. And I remember seeing a little notification pop up. So he was still on waivers, and she made that pickup, and he has looked like the best pickup of the season.
yeah, totally.
Then she has Jalen Warren and Theo Johnson in. I love it. I think she's got a great team.
She's got a great team.
And she has some great matchups, right? Jalen Warren against Cincinnati, Rico Dowdle against Atlanta, the Dolphins versus Washington. Honestly, her worst matchup is the Jalen Hurts and Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit and Philadelphia. And that game feels like it could go either way. It could be a slugfest or, or a low scoring game. Just depends.
Yep.
On the other side of that, Jacob obviously has Jordan Love.
Yep.
Devonta Smith. So Devonta Smith has Jalen Hurts. So they're kind of countering each other a little bit there. Josh Jacobs, who's going against the Giants. Love that. Justin Jefferson against Chicago. If JJ McCarthy can just hit a throw. Justin Jefferson had so many looks last week. Everything seemed high. I don't know if you agree or saw that, but
I agree. Go ahead.
He had 12 targets last week. Yeah. So it's not like he's not getting targeted. He's just, every throw is like 12 feet above his head.
Well, I take it like this. Like McCarthy he's still, even though he's in his second year, he's in his rookie year because he didn't play at all last year. So he's going to be very inconsistent until he gets the accuracy issues sorted out. But at least, we know Jefferson's getting the targets. So it's not like he's not actively not trying like AJ Brown, but I'll save that for later.
George Pickens. So Jacob's receivers, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, and George Pickens all look fantastic. Josh Jacobs, he is starting tight end at Hunter Henry at tight end and Darius Slayton in his flex with Tyrone Tracy. I don't love the Giants this week against Green Bay. They made Philadelphia look pedestrian. I don't think the Giants are going to have a great week.
Well, they might not have Jackson Dart either.
Right. Which, for Sarah, on Sarah's side, Theo Johnson, she also has Kate Otten on the bench. So she might go either way. But honestly, this is a great week for Sarah to catch Jacob without John. But my gosh, Jacob's team looks so good. Like on paper, I look at this team and go, all Jacob, we always talk about you're probably weak at one spot. Jacob's weak spot is his flex.
Yeah.
I'd love to be weak at my flex.
Right.
Right. Like I'm weak at running back 2. Jacob's weak at flex.
Well, even that he could honestly, if he wanted to be a little sneaky, he could start David Montgomery in his flex.
100%. 100%. And I actually reached out to him about David Montgomery because I was like, man, I would love to just get 10 points from my running back 2 any week. Jacob could literally throw in David Montgomery and go, well, there's my 10.
Yeah, because I'm like, who knows? He might get the goal line touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. Great week. I'm excited to see this matchup, and we'll get into our predictions here in a second. But it was the game I wanted to highlight because it's a good matchup. Great
Yeah,
matchup.
it's a great matchup this week.
So it's one of those ones I'm kind of hoping everybody else kind of tunes in and keeps an eye on because I think it'll be fun. It's also important for the league. Jacob's in first at 7-3. Nobody else is at 7-3. Everybody else is at 6-4. So honestly, we should all be rooting for Sarah, especially if you're one of those other 5 teams at 6-4. You want Sarah to win to bring Jacob back down to everyone else and cluster it up so that when we get to that playoff push, you have a chance to get the 1 or 2 seed. But
We
we'll
want to
see.
see all the 7 and 4s. That's what we want.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our week 10 predictions. You killed it last week, so I'm going to let you start. But I will, again, just like last time, we'll switch off back and forth. So we're gonna go start a little bit out of order because I'm gonna let you start with your game and then we'll go to my game. So we'll do you guys, Mike and Joe versus Ryan this week.
Okay. Sorry, let me look at it. I was looking. I thought,
No, you're okay.
I figured we do Sarah's and Jacob's first, but that's okay.
I'll take full responsibility. I threw a curveball to you. So.
No, it's okay. I'm like, we are having players start tonight anyway, so it's okay. Honestly, like I'm gonna pick us just because well, Brian doesn't look like he set up his lineup yet. No, he hasn't because he has Pittman in and he still has Herbert in. So I think it'll be close between us and Ryan. It was literally 0.23 last time that Ryan beat us by the first time we played. So I'm hoping that we can kind of sneak in there and take the win from him this time. So because I love who we have this week for who we're starting. Obviously, we're starting Drake May. We're going to start Henderson tonight. I don't believe we're going to start Breece Hall because we don't have him in right now. But then I like the Genty matchup with Dallas. Obviously, George Kittle. We love that matchup. And then Derrick Henry against Cleveland. But I do like Ryan's matchups. Ryan's actually got tough matchups this week if he's starting all of his Chiefs because the Broncos defense is no joke. So I think that's like what we saw last week with Denver and Las Vegas. I think that's what's going to kind of be similar. It'll probably be like a 17-14 game, but I think it'll still be low scoring. But I think we'll somehow sneak it past Ryan. I
do actually agree with you. I was going to pick you guys. And it's nothing against Ryan. It's the fact that his team has a tough matchup this week. Mm-hmm. His running back 2 right now is J.K. Dobbins. If he doesn't start J.K. Dobbins, which he most likely won't because he's hurt, it's going to be Tony Pollard. Yeah. That's rough. It's rough to see. The best matchup he has is Jamar Chase versus Pittsburgh, where you guys on the other side of this, you have Drake May versus the Jets. Ramondre Stevenson's already been ruled out. So Trevion Henderson against the Jets, who have not been fantastic. Yes, they won last week, but they haven't looked fantastic. They gave up a ton of points. George Kittle against Arizona. He just always shows up for that game. They played week 1 of the season, and before he got hurt, already had 12 points in the first quarter. I don't see that going the other way. I think Derrick Henry has a rough week this week against Cleveland, but your worst matchup is your RB3, mm-hmm. So I looking at it, I agree with you. You have the better side of the matchups. Obviously it could go the other way because Ryan lives and dies by the Chiefs. If the Chiefs go off, you guys are probably screwed.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
Because he has Rashee Rice, he has Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. If those guys start scoring touchdowns, it's probably over. Yep. But for now, how I see it, I 100% agree with you. I think the matchups are in your favor. I think you're catching Ryan against a hard matchup. Yep. While the Denver is missing Patrick Surtain, they are a great defense who puts pressure on Mahomes, and they have always given him trouble.
Yep.
I agree. I'm going with you guys as well. Next is my matchup versus Robert. I've been going back and forth on this. I honestly do not know how I feel. It's projected as it stands right now. Now, this is going to change because Robert does not have a defensive back end. I think he is probably trying to figure out who he's going to drop, and he's going to do it last minute because he is going to have to drop someone. It'll probably be Nick Cross. But right now, as it stands, it's a 0.3 point difference. Lamar Jackson against Cleveland, I do not love for myself. Puka Nacua against Seattle, again, do not love it.
That's another tough matchup. Yeah.
James Cook is going up against Tampa Bay, but that's my best matchup. Honestly, my matchups this week suck. His are a little bit better. And he counters my best player in Puka with Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
So I do counter Zay Flowers with Lamar Jackson, but Drake London playing Carolina. Javonte Williams versus the Raiders. Tedero McMillan against Atlanta. I'm having a hard time picking myself. And I just don't think I can. I think I have to pick Robert. I hope I win, but
yeah, of course.
Just matchup wise, I think he's got the better matchups at this point. And unless I get lucky and Nico Collins goes off, or somebody else on my team kind of has one of those weeks, I'm having to start Kenneth Walker at this point. I might change it and put in, Kareem Hunt, but I'm going to pick Robert here.
I'm going to as well, just because that Drake London matchup and then Odunze. Like, I think those two will go off this week. I don't know if both Ferguson and Williams will go off. I mean, Ferguson's been consistent, so I think he'll be consistent. I think it depends if Javonte Williams goes off, because, I mean, he probably will, given that Dallas was on a bye. They've prepared for this team, so I expect Dallas to come out high-flying offense. So, and yeah, go ahead.
Javonte's actually been their most consistent player. He had a bad week against Arizona in the game they lost. But for the most part, he's had 2 games under 10 points. Every other game has been 13 or higher, with 26 being his ceiling.
Yeah. And just on your side, you have tough matchups with Franklin and Puka and then Lamar Jackson. I'm like, oof.
Yeah, 100%. And for me, Jerry Jeudy might be getting in for Franklin. I haven't decided that yet. But I do agree. I don't love my matchups this week. I think it's just going to be rough. I do not think I pull this one out. I sure hope I do, but
for sure.
Next is Brandon versus Aaron. So your mom digs my Penix versus Lamar Azard.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
So taking a look at it, I do like the Bijan matchup. I do like the Abuka matchup. I actually do like the Swift matchup, because I'm not the biggest fan of DeAndre Swift, but I do like the matchup with there. Trey McBride's going to be fed since Marvin Harrison Jr. is out. I don't like the Bo Nix matchup, of course. And then he's got RJ Harvey, but even if J.K. Dobbins doesn't go, like, Kansas City's run defense is pretty solid, so it's rough. Devontae, I think, will be okay on Aaron's side. He got Stephon Diggs, CD Lamb. Yeah. I was leaning towards picking Brandon this week just to make up for the curse, but I think I'm going to have to go with Aaron this week, because he's got some good matchups this week.
Just to kind of point this out to DeAndre Swift, while I know he's not your favorite, since the bye week, if you exclude the week he did not play, his averaged 18 points a game.
Yeah.
Been playing fantastic. I kind of agree with you. Again, Dak Prescott versus Las Vegas. The reason that Aaron, I think, had a hard week last week is he didn't have CD, he didn't have Dak, because they were on bye. So, he's got that stack. He's got JSN. He's starting Stephon Diggs. Yep. Chase Brown against Pittsburgh. Travis Etienne. Devontae Adams. Like, his team at receiver is so deep, because he also has Cortland Sutton on his bench, right? Like, Cortland Sutton would be a 3 on most teams, and he's a bench receiver.
Yep.
We always talk about a weakness at a spot. Aaron's weakness is tight end. Fantastic.
And Andrews has been.
He's been up and down. He's just been
since Lamar's been back. He's been, I think, okay, but
that's
it's
fair.
Gonna be a tough matchup. It's gonna be a tough matchup, but everyone else, like, his receivers are just ridiculous.
DeAndre Swift, Bijan. It could go. This is a hard one. So
It is.
Emeka Ibuka, Lad McConkey have been stepping up. Bijan has had, I think, 2 bad weeks in a row.
Mhm.
3 bad weeks in his, right? He had 2 of his last 3 have been bad. He had 5 in against Miami. He had 17 versus New England and 10 versus Indianapolis. And Carolina is actually a really good run D. As much as we give them a hard time, they actually hold up against the run well. They give up a lot more points in the passing game. Bo Nix versus Kansas City. Bo Nix has his up and down games.
Yep.
It just depends what Bo Nix we get. I think I'm going to agree with you. I do want to lean Brandon because Trey McBride with Marvin Harrison Jr. out and all that other stuff. I have a hard time picking against that team that Aaron has put together. I think Sarah caught him last week in a down week with his buys. He does not look as weak as the 6th place team.
No, he does not. Just with Devontae Lamb and JSN, like that's tough.
Yeah, I mean JSN is the number 1 receiver right now in fantasy. Devontae is the number 10, and CeeDee Lamb, if he wasn't injured, would probably be up there as well.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about Stephon Diggs or Cortland Sutton. Okay. Yep. And then Travis Etienne has looked good. Chase Brown is starting to look like he's coming back. Honestly, as a league, we got really lucky that Cam Scatterbo ended up getting out for the season because I do not think anybody beats Aaron's team if Cam Scatterbo continue to play.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to just see, but I think we're in unison here. I'm picking the same one. Next is Jacob versus Sarah. So I'll take the lead on this one. Again, matchup of the week. It's the 1 seed versus the 3. It's going to be a fantastic game. Going to be one of those games. We kind of already touched on the matchup, so I'm just going to kind of make my pick here. I'm going Sarah. I think Sarah is catching Jacob at the right time. Jonathan Taylor out. Jacob's team is super solid, but Jonathan Taylor is the star power. He's that player who's going to put up that 30, the 40, the 50. The rest of his team will be consistent, but his team does rely on Jonathan Taylor to put up those big games for the rest of the team to kind of pop off. Everybody else is probably going to get their projections. And just based on that, I'm going to pick Sarah here.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to agree with you and pick Sarah too. I think with Jalen Hurts, them playing Detroit, he's going to have to put up points. And then I think when they get in the red zone, he's going to be doing touch pushes. Because I think.
And Sarah counters Jacob with Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts. So
yeah, I think like Jalen Hurts is going to have to put up points. And I think if Philadelphia has to do that, then I think Sarah's obviously going to be the beneficiary of that, of all those points from him.
All right. So last game, JJ versus Terrence. So JJ just made all those trades, right? Big week for him. Big week for Terrence too. His team has been pretty consistent. It's gotten hot. Unfortunately, he started rough and he's in a hard spot. But he's still in 7th, has a chance. I'll let you kind of lead off on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at both their teams and they pretty much counter each other in terms of like positionals. So like Terrence is starting Jared Goff. JJ now has Amon-Ra. So those two counter each other. Terrence also has AJ Brown and Saquon, and we've had that conversation all season where one of them's going to go off and the other one's not. And it sounds like from what AJ Brown has said, just drop me in fantasy because don't use me. I would lean more towards Saquon, but at the same time, going back to what I thought for Sarah, I think Jalen Hurts will be the one that gets the goal line touches. So I think that puts Terrence in a really, really rough situation because he's starting Michael Wilson, who might get targets now that Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, but I think that's all going to go to.
I think it's Trey McBride as
well.
Trey
McBride, and then Jennings. I'm like, Pearsall might come back this week.
Yeah, he did practice.
So that's rough because I would expect Kittle, and if Pearsall's back, those two to get the looks, along with Christian McCaffrey, who's been pretty much carrying that offense.
Mhm.
JJ has Christian McCaffrey. He just got Woody Marks. I do like the matchup with him against Tennessee. And then Brock Bowers had an off game last week. I don't think that continues this week because Dallas's defense is not the greatest, as we've already mentioned.
Mhm.
T. Higgins, Josh Allen. I'm leaning towards JJ for this week.
And if I'm going to agree with you. There's not much. I'm not gonna. I think in straight alignment this week, unfortunately, which is fine because we're tied. So is what it is. However, just digging into it a little bit from my perspective, the projections as it stand is JJ's projected to lose by 6, and he doesn't have his whole lineup set.
Nope.
Right. The other part of that is Michael Wilson is projected 15 points. I do not think just because, Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, that all of a sudden he's going to go from 6 to 15. I don't think it's a 9-point swing. I don't think targets are going to go that far in his favor. Again, agree with you, A.J. Brown. Ricky Pearsall comes back. Jawan Jennings has been putting up numbers, but it's been very touchdown dependent.
Yep.
He is getting targets. I don't want to take away from that, but he's last 2 games, which he scored 14 and 17. If we take out the touchdowns, would have been 10 and 13 or 8 and 13 points. So it's hard to sit here and just say, oh yeah, it's going to be a great game. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. Aaron Jones is dealing with an injury and he might play fantastic, might not. We'll have to see. I
think he sets Judkins over him because he has Judkins on his bench.
So yeah, I agree. We are in alignment here. Rough week. It's just a rough week for some teams, and that sucks. But I am hoping that we have good games across the board.
For sure.
So next is our standings. I wanted to do this because we just talked about our games. We made our predictions, but we are actually hitting the point in the season. Usually I don't do our breakdowns for playoff positioning until later, but this week actually has a massive implications on our playoff schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So normally I wouldn't do this. Normally this would be week 13, week 14, but we got to do it now because what's going to happen is going to determine if we make the playoffs or not.
For sure.
So as it stands, unfortunately, Brandon and Joe and Mike have been eliminated from playoffs. There is it's like a 5% chance either of them could make the playoffs. It is a minuscule chance. Like things would have
there's a chance.
I mean, I would actually have to break it down 100%, but I'm almost positive like certain players would have to lose out. And by certain players, I mean like a lot of people would have to lose out for you guys to make it because everybody already has 6 wins.
Yeah.
Your max is 6. They already are at that. So as soon as people get to 7 wins, like Jacob, you can't pass Jacob. And as everybody else hits 7, and considering a bunch of the 6 and 4 teams are playing each other, teams are going to hit 7.
So you're saying we need 4 wins.
We need 4 wins and some luck.
And some luck.
Same thing with Brandon. He's at 3. Just statistically speaking, Brandon and Mike and Joe are pretty much eliminated.
We're pretty much eliminated. Yep.
Now, on the other side of that, 7th and 8th, which is Terrence and myself, there is a chance we could be statistically eliminated today as well, or this week.
Yep.
So here's the breakdown. So just so everybody's aware, because everybody's at 6 and 4, if Terrence and myself lose this week, one of us is not making the playoffs, and literally only one of us can play because Terrence and I do play each other again. So in week, I have to look at this real quick and pull it up. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's week 13. Terrence and I play each other. It is week 13. Terrence and I play each other. So if at any point Terrence and I lose, either one of us, we are, and not against each other, we are eliminated. That week, Terrence and I play each other. Whoever wins that game
is eliminated.
Is the only one who has a chance to make the playoffs. So that's just where it's at, right? We are literally down to 5 guaranteed teams and 1 team playing for a spot.
Unless you tie. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Actually, tying is worse.
Oh, okay. So it helps us out with the 5%.
Yes,
Gotcha.
it does. It does. So for anybody to make the playoffs, I would need to this week beat Robert. Terrence needs to win against JJ, right? Because then it brings both of those guys down to 6 and 5. If Robert wins, and if JJ wins, and if Aaron wins, and Sarah wins, and Ryan win, we're eliminated.
Yeah.
Because that brings everybody up to 7 and 4, or 7 and 5, 7 and 4, 7 and 4. That schedule right there brings everybody up to 7 and 4. Terrence and I are already at 7 losses. The best we can do is 7 and 7. We play each other. It's over. Okay. So there is a scenario where Terrence and I lose this week and are done.
Stout.
Just it's out. So this is why we talk about like, hey, playoff scenarios. Usually our league is so much closer. This year has been just a separation. What Terrence and I are hoping for is we actually want Jacob to pull away. Because if Jacob's beating all of the teams he's supposed to be playing, which Jacob has if I remember correctly, a rough schedule. I think this week he plays Sarah. Next week he plays JJ. And then he plays Brandon. So that one will have no playoff implications. And then he finishes with Ryan. We want him to pull away. We want him to actually go 4-0 because then he beats all these teams that are kind of clustering that we're trying to catch.
Right.
So we want Jacob to win. We want Jacob to win out. And we want all these teams at 6 and 4 to kind of cannibalize each other. And Terrence and I win until we play each other. And then whoever plays and wins in that matchup, if they win the next week, is their only chance.
Right.
So as it stands, Terrence and I are pretty much the only ones who have a chance to make the playoffs. And we need a bunch of teams to beat each other. And when we play each other, whoever wins that is the only one who has a chance to make the playoffs.
Gotcha.
So that's why I wanted to bring this up is there is
a
massive chance that the playoffs are almost already set.
Yeah.
So if you're in the top 6, you pretty much have a guaranteed chance. So this is that Rain Man thing I was always talking about. I was really hoping our league would be a lot more kind of congested. Didn't happen. So the way the schedule worked out, it's kind of fun to watch because it's literally just going to be a push for 6th.
Yeah. It usually is though.
But usually there's a lot more teams at 7 and 7. And
I'm sorry, we suck.
It's not just you though. Like I had that. I started off 3-1 and then went on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Like just happens sometimes, right? Like it's weird how fantasy can work.
Well, you got cursed. So.
I did get cursed by Brandon. You're right. You're 100% right. So on the other side of that, right? For Terrence and I to have a chance, we need teams like you and Brandon to win their matchups. You know, Brandon plays Aaron this week. Hey, him losing is good for us. You guys beating Ryan, good for us.
Call me Ryan.
Brandon beating Sarah. If Sarah wins this week, it doesn't matter. But if Sarah loses, good for us. And then I think you guys actually next week, we play each other. So again, one of those matchups where I don't want to lose, but if I do, again, eliminated. But Terrence plays Ryan. So maybe he can still his spot. And so it's really going to come down to week 13 or this week and week 13 are going to be the indicators on where everybody ends.
For sure.
So, you know, if you end up in the top 6, you guys are congratulations. You just got to keep winning and kind of chugging away. If any of those teams in the top 6 tie each other, Joe, then yes, I am eliminated.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we'll
ties
try
are
our
bad.
best. Thanks. I approve of
you win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I know exactly what's going to happen. This is how my life's going to work out. I'm going to win my next 3 games.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to beat Robert this week. I'm going to win next week against you guys. I'm going to beat Terrence. Listen, and then I'm going to have
I'm
to play
listening.
JJ.
Oh yeah. So see, just lose to us and just get it over with.
I don't want to lose to you because I don't want to lose to you. And I don't want to lose. I don't like losing.
We can tie. Does tying
Okay.
help us?
Tying doesn't help any of us.
Oh, okay. So then just lose.
Yeah, just you lose and we'll be fine. All right. So that's it. I just wanted everybody to kind of hear like the mad mathematical science behind it.
It's fun to debate and talk about because it's why I love this league because there's always a fight for sixth.
Yep.
And this year it's the top end, whereas usually typically it's the low end, the bottom end that's always fighting for the last spot. It's very interesting. It's been a weird, even though it's been a super weird year for fantasy. I'm like, it's fantastic.
Well, last year as just the competitiveness of the league, last year Ryan was super at the bottom.
Yep.
Kind of like you guys are using the same spot you guys were in, but 9th through 3rd were all had a chance to make the playoffs. And even at the very end, there was me, Aaron, Brandon, and one other team at 7 and that ended at 7-7.
Yep.
And Brandon ended up in like 5th, but also had a chance to get the 2 seed if he would have won. So like
it's weird. It's
this year everybody's going to be fighting for that 1 and 2 seed, which is fantastic, right? Like there's still competition. But really you're just trying to win one more game and you're probably in. Points. If you look at points in the league, I am not going to make it off of points. I really do need to get to 8 wins. I need to get to 8 and 6. Just those weeks in the middle really killed me. But even Terrence, he's lower on points. He's the 2nd lowest scoring team in the league. So it's me and him. So that's why I was saying like it's going to take a lot more than just I won a bunch of games. Like if we get down to
points too.
Yeah, if you get down to points, you're probably not making it. You really need to go, hey, I got to 8 and 5 and I stole the 6th or 5th spot, and the guy in 6th and 7th just ended at 7-7, and it came down to points on them. But again, Terrence and I only have 1 loss to give, and we play each other. So it's most likely not gonna. It's gonna be a lot harder to kind of battle that out. But I did want to break that down. I think it's fun. I think it's good for everybody to hear like how crazy it can get.
Yes. It's fun times.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Longer episode, much longer, but we did go through a ton of stuff, playoff scenarios, all that other fun stuff, all the trades. Continue to comment, like, subscribe. If you haven't, I don't know about all that stuff on the subscription. I need to actually look at that algorithm. But again, if you're not in the league, I appreciate you commenting. Danny, thank you. All of you guys, thank you.
I love you, Danny.
But thank you all for just listening to us, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying this. And then, we'll see you next week. I see you guys all next week.
Have a good one, everyone.
Peace.